and do the proper introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round number 2 of the ESL Go4LoL EU West Cup number 86. This is a single elimination tournament. 386 teams have entered the tournament. You can find the ladder over at esl.eu and just look for Go4LoL. This is Cup number 86. It'll just help you find it if you search for that. We're into round 2. Round number 1, we followed the team of Lucky Bears winning and really winning their game very strongly. And we're going to be following now another team, Mr. Technolink and his boys. So let's bring up the game screen really quickly. And you can see we're already into bans and picks. First bans have already come through. It is Warwick and Shen. Have a quick look at the rest of the players' team name and players really quickly. I just noticed I have no idea what Technolink's team name actually is. So while I wait for him to give me that information, we can keep looking at the picks and bans at the moment. We've got Morgana, Lee Sin, and almost instantaneous Kassadin ban reply from our opponents. And one more ban coming in before the bans and picks is over, and we can start locking in the champions. And we're going to have to see what happens this time around. Previous game, we've seen a Lee Sin in the top facing off against Dr. Mundo. And as predicted, the very early levels of Lee Sin, he was able to get a fantastic advantage. And this time around, though, he is banned out. So we see a ban from Ari. So it leaves quite a few big names, most notably Hecarim. Hecarim is, of course, the newest champion to reach the champion pool. He's particularly strong and he's got some great damage, but he needs a few levels in the jungle. Until he earns a few levels, it's quite difficult to actually deal with him. So let's have a look at all of the technical messages at the moment. Team Destingy Gaming is who we are following on the left-hand side. Maurice, Rick, Raymond Kano, and Melody, respectively, all the different players. And we're going to have to see how this plays out. First pick and lock is Janna. Once again, seeing the current metagame is focused on locking in those supports. If you lock in a support champion first, you don't reveal your hand. You don't allow yourself to get counterpicked. And it's a really smart move. With the nerfing to heals, it's quite interesting to see that Janna is now shining quite a bit more prominently. With her Eye of the Storm ability, it blocks off some damage, and more importantly, it applies an attack damage buff. I believe it's at 48 at the max rank, and that's a huge number. By level 7, 8, 9, to be able to add 30, 40, 50 points of attack damage to your carry, it's just a massive advantage. Now, the enemy team has locked in a Corki and a Kale. Corki, not unusual to the competitive scene, has got really great damage. Of course, his passive allowing him to apply an additional 8% true damage on every single hit. So building him up with some attack damage just really does well for him. You tend to see Corkis either go sort of Bloodthirst or Infinity Edge or standard AD carry route or Trinity Force, because his Phosphorus Bombs, Gatling Cannon, and those missile barrages for his ultimate, of course, scale off ability power, and the Sheen proc. If you time it well, missile, auto attack, you can really tear people apart, taking advantage of the Trinity Force and the proc from that. Kale, of course, has most recently seen a buff. Not a completely game-changing buff, but the heal from Kale now, the heal and speed up is now a longer duration, stronger heal. It does have a higher mana cost, so you've got to be a bit careful in lane not to waste it and not use it ineffectively. And I believe the slow also received a buff as well most recently. So maybe we'll be seeing some metagame changes. Maybe looking at a resurgence of Kale players. For Destingy Gaming, we've got a lock in for Nocturne and Ash. Ash Arrow, of course, the crystalline arrow, can be game-changing. If Technolink or whoever's going to be playing AD carry can land those ultimate arrows, can land those stuns, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. And that's really what we're going to be looking for. Enemy team is now looking at a Shyvana lock-in. Shyvana. How are you meant to say it? Warwick. I don't know, can argue different things. And potentially Singed. Now, this is going to be a really cool pick. I love watching Singed being played, and especially if people know how to play Singed. He's the ultimate troll champion in League of Legends. You have to play like a bit of an arsehole. You have to keep pushing past the enemy waves, throwing out those poison, throwing out those tosses. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, never chase a Singed, all right? Don't do it. It's bad for your health. Those toxic fumes from his exhaust pipes are going to destroy you. So be very careful chasing a Singed. We had a few champions swap arounds. There was a thought about Gangplank, thought about Tryndamere, but ended up going back to Shyvana. So we're probably going to see Shyvana in the jungle. And we've got, it looks like a Kennen Gangplank for Techno, or Destiny Gaming rather. So let's have a look and see how that's going to be doing. Kennen and Gangplank will synchronize quite nicely. The AoE slow from Gangplank coupled with the AoE slicing Maelstrom of Kennen is going to be able to put quite a lot of damage down. And what's very nice about this is you can interchange. You can put Kennen in the top lane. He'll do pretty well against a Singed. Singed won't be able to lock him down or hold him in place. Or you can put Kennen in the mid lane to go against a Ryze. Ryze is a pretty effective counter to Kennen. With his Rune Prison, he's just going to tell Kennen to sit down and shut up. Snare him to the ground and prevent that lightning rush. Prevent Kennen jumping around the screen and you know, positioning himself more effectively for his slicing Maelstrom. But what I'm a bit afraid of is the synergy here, because you've got single target focus for Nocturne and Ashe in terms of Crystalline, Arrow, and Paranoia. Then you've got the AoE from GP and Kennen. Once they commit, they're going to need to focus their targets immensely. What we do have on the opposing team is a decent counter initiation. Shyvana in her dragon form is going to be able to push people back. Ryze is going to be able to hold somebody in place. So what you'll find is Ryze, maybe when they commit to these team fights, will lock somebody down with Rune Prison. Shyvana will jump forward, pushing the enemy team backwards, and Singed will be able to then toss the Destiny Gaming player further back to his team, to the Corki and Kale. So it's gonna come down to team focus and target selection. A fair amount of crowd control across the way. Slow for Kale, knock back for Shyvana, toss, or knock forward for Shyvana, push rather. Knock back on Singed. And of course the Rune Prison for Ryze. So it looks as though we've got our champions locked in. Everybody has moved around as well. So we're jumping into the 3-minute delay. This is of course to protect the players, guys. This is a delay in the stream so that if anybody is watching the screen on a secondary monitor or keeping tabs on the casting, they don't know where the wards are. They're always going to be looking at the past. So yes, they may be able to see what somebody did 3 minutes ago, but you're not going to have the level of attention, level of focus to be able to really take advantage of any information you've gained. So what we're going to find is Kennen and Gangplank for Destiny Gaming facing off against Shyvana and Ryze. Ryze and Singed rather. Shyvana's going to be in the jungle. So I'm going to be interested to see if they're going to stick the usual Ryze versus Kennen in the middle and Gangplank versus Singed on top. I don't think Gangplank's going to be able to kill a Singed, and I don't see a Singed being able to kill a Gangplank. If Singed does eventually build a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, for example, and apply the slow, Gangplank is going to be able to eat his oranges. It'll be K. He'll be able to move out of the way a little bit. He'll be able to use his Raise Morale, increase his movement speed, increase a little bit of attack damage, and keep applying those parlays. As long as Gangplank can keep his mana up, he's going to be able to keep throwing those parlays into Singed's head all day long. The bottom lane is going to be the kill lane for me. Corki and Kale. Corki, of course, has got his little rocket jump, or I'm going to have to double check the name, but it's effectively a rocket jump. And it'll apply a little bit of damage on, a little burn on the ground. But with the rocket jump aggression, followed by a Kale slow, Corki's going to be able to sit on someone's face and have that Gatling cannon tearing away their armor, shredding their armor, allowing him to deal more damage. Combine that with his passive, which applies a true damage tick anyway, and he's going to be able to start hitting really hard. So Janna's going to need to land those Typhoons. She's going to have to be able to knock up Kale and knock up Corki, give Ashe enough time to kite, give Ashe enough time to fall back, use those volleys and use those slow arrows to get her positioning correct. Just to answer a quick question on chat, the videos will be posted on my YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/QuickShotTV, exactly the same as my summoner name as you see it in-game, QU1KSH0T TV. But the easiest way to follow them, easiest way to keep tabs of when the videos are up and live, follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/QuickShot, and I'll be able to let you know when they're ready, when they're available, and when they're good to go. For anybody that doesn't know, this is round 2 of the ESL Go4LoL Cup number 86. And we are following Team Destiny Gaming at the minute. Let's see if we can find them on this ladder. It doesn't seem to want to find them. So quickly scroll down. Have a quick look through. Oh, we won't be able to find them at the minute. So we'll stick to the game screen at the moment. 8 seconds left on our 3-minute casting display. or delay rather, and we'll finally be able to jump straight into this game. Destiny Gaming is the team that invited me, so I'm slightly biased towards them winning. But it's all going to be determined by the skins. As was predicted in the last game, the epic Frost Mistress Janna skin led to their team being victorious. And we've now got a small delay. I'm not 100% certain what's happening here. So, oh, there we go. Just a delay in the game loading. Luckily, there were no bugs. Ooh, we've got a problem now. Destiny Gaming is running skinless. I mean, they have skin. They're humans. It's attached. But their champions in-game do not have custom skins. And we've got really cool Surfer Singed. Even his nickname is a troll. It's okay in inverted commas. And I'm sure you've got to say this like Rammus does. I mean, if anybody plays League of Legends and you know the champions, Rammus running around going, okay. It's his voice prompt. I really hope his latency is going to drop, because playing with a 200 latency is very, very difficult. Having a look at the rest of the channels, we've also, of course, got Unmasked Kale. Anybody who knows their League of Legends lore, you may not know that Kale is in fact the sister of Morgana. Go do yourselves a favor and read the histories. It's pretty interesting to see how the in-game champions interact and know one another. And I'm also certain that Garen and Katarina had a bit of a fling as well. If you read through their stories, they're just a little bit too friendly with one another. So let's quickly turn off our chat screen. We have some pings all over the map. Purple pings for the most part, so it seems as though the opponents are wanting to move forward. You can see the pings coming into this brush. Kennen, Mr. Perfect ZZZ, running up and placing a very early ward. As we mentioned earlier in the very last game, with these early wards, they avoid aggression, or it saves you from early aggression. It lets you know where the enemy team is, it lets you know what they're doing, what they're pushing, and he has this really cool skin. Surfer Singe, check that hair. I'm sure that's gel in his hand, or some sort of form of liquor. His surfboard, what's that, something wax along those lines. We've got to disconnect. I'm not certain on the rules for reconnecting and if they're able to or not, or restarting the game, remaking. But it appears as though we're just going to wait for Shyvana to reconnect, probably. It's very, very difficult for a jungler. If you disconnect as a jungler, it's near impossible to come back and help your team. Singed is just guarding. What you'll notice here on the right-hand side is he's protecting his jungle, okay? He's watching the entrance over here on this little ramp, and he's making sure that nobody comes in to steal the red buff, making sure that nobody comes up to invade their jungle. And Mr. Lockhart, greetings, good sir. I roar at you back. If anybody doesn't know or isn't understanding, I'm just responding to a message in chat. If you guys would like to hear me ruin your nickname, or destroy your nickname with my South African accent, please come say hi. I'm more than happy to send you a personal love letter, personal love message. Having a look at how the game's going at the moment, the stream has just started, or game has just started. Creeps have spawned. Blue buff has been leashed for Nocturne, and we sadly still have a disconnected Shyvana. So this is a 5 versus 4 for the first few minutes at the moment. Shyvana has reconnected, so she's missed 2 minutes. It's going to put her about a minute behind the jungler of Destiny Gaming, and that's it's not a huge amount. But it is a little bit frustrating. It's very difficult to deal with. Nocturne coming up with an early gank or early pressure. He knows the Shyvana's there, so he may just want to do a jungle invade. We'll see if he wants to come up behind Singed. If he's taking his fear, which he has, Unspeakable Horror, if he keeps in range of Singed for 2 seconds, it's going to be enough to proc the fear. Parlay attack damage has gone down. Ignite plus this fear, 1 auto attack is going to be enough. First blood from the Tainted Blade, Grog Soak Blade of Gragas in combination with Ignite, and that's going to give him the advantage that he needs. If Gangplank decides to go for the likes of a Philosopher's Stone, it'll give him the health regen and mana regen to keep spamming out those parlays and really keep pressure down onto Singe. So really, really good early gank. 3-minute first blood isn't the end of the, is one of the earliest first bloods that you can pick up. And for Jord Bear, I hope you're not a Geordie. If you are British and you understand that, I apologize. I didn't mean to insult you, but Mr. Jord Bear, greetings, good sir. And Amdola, AMD Owl A. You are AMD Owl A. That is how I've decided it. Kale using that Righteous Fury, spamming the range, spamming the AoE damage, applying some hurt onto Ashe and Janna. And it's going to be permanent because they don't have a sustain. They don't have the ability to heal one another. Summoner heal is available for Ashe. Not having an exhaust this time around, So that's going to be a bit frustrating. There's the Righteous Fury. One auto attack from Kayle is enough to chunk down 60, 70 hit points of damage on Janna. And if Kayle keeps this pressure up, it's going to allow Corki just the ability to free farm. So let's have a look at Mankey's ability to last hit under the tower. It is very difficult at this low level. Not having any items, not having any extra damage, it makes life a bit frustrating to deal with. And of course, having a nickname Mankey, it is one of the less popular Pokemon. I was never really a fan of Mankey. What did Mankey evolve into, guys? It was some gorilla thing, 3 Mankey or something along those lines. Can I have a look back in this top lane at the moment? Have a look and see how Gangplank is doing. He's picked up a Doran's Blade, so with that early advantage, he's going to be able to keep putting the damage down. And look at this. It's just the harass, parlay, auto attack, parlay, auto attack. And he's just trying to take control of this lane. Keep singed on the back foot. Keep singed under pressure. There's the slow from Kayle. Every time Kayle's sword lights ablaze like that, she's using her Righteous Fury ability, which increases her attack range significantly. She's normally a melee champion, so using that makes her ranged. And more importantly, it applies a AoE damage. Let's have a look at what the exact numbers are. 20% of her attack damage plus a portion of her ability power. So you'll just see how she keeps hitting. And it's really starting to show on Janna. It is hurting Janna. We've got pressure on this top lane, though. Gangplank overcommitting to a fight. Shouldn't be picking a fight with that many creeps, because it effectively means that's 1.5 singe that he's trying to fight. When you hit a champion in lane, every single one of the opposing team's creeps will start poking you in the head. Those little balls of purple energy will be dealing about 8 to 10 damage per auto attack. And that many creeps with that high of a number, it's almost like fighting 2 champions. So Singed may have been able to, or Gangplank may have been able to 1 versus 1 that Singed, but not with that huge creep wave. So he's going to be farming, picking up the gold. And we see a slightly smaller gold lead. Previous game, by the 5-minute mark, there was a 2,000 gold lead in favor of the German team of Lucky Bears. This time round, it's only 700 gold. We've got some pings onto the Shyvana. It appears as though Nocturne and Kennen want to steal this red buff, and you'll notice Gangplank's coming up as well. They're running into a low health Shyvana. The fear, unspeakable horror, red buff. Shyvana's going to flash, follow-up flash from Kennen and Nocturne, and that's going to be another kill. Really, really great play, really great coordination from Kennen and Nocturne, and Gangplank as well. I mean, he was coming up just to assist on the red buff steal, and now they're going to be putting pressure onto the Singe. Singe is in trouble. He's close to his tower, but they're going to be able to dive this. If they decide to commit, that's going to be one. It's unspeakable horror. It's not going to proc. Kennen took too much damage from the turret. There was 2 auto attacks, and he fell back. But it looked like Singed used his ghost, which he did. So that's a summoner spell used for a little bit of damage. Worth it any day of the week. Not having ghost means that the next time they try and push this top lane, Gangplank, Singed is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's only going to have to rely on his ultimate Insanity Potion, which will increase his movement speed, his health regen, his mana regen. But he doesn't have Ghost to really guarantee that safety, guarantee getting away. And there we go. Davey Mankey evolved into a Primate. Yeah, that's awesome. Pokemon fans out there in the land, that's really cool. Huge damage going down into Kayle there. Auto attack followed up by the volley. Corki's returning it though. Gatling gun is being applied, but Corki's range is slightly slower than Ash's. And of course, with Ash having the ability to kite, apply those frosted arrows, you'll see the blue frost shot animation going out. It'll apply a movement buff or a movement debuff onto the opponents. And with the range, you'll see a debuff from the frost shot into the volley. But if you stay in that Gatling gun, your armor gets reduced. It gets shredded with each individual attack. Kayle and Corki now applying the damage back, and Kayle's running out of mana. So she's going to start using that Astral Blessing. She has healed up Corki, but it's on a high cooldown and it's a high mana cost. So it's getting a bit difficult, getting a bit hairy. And let's have a look at the summoner spells. Flash is available for Janna. Flash heal is available for Ash. Same on the responding side for Corki and Kayle. So they're going to have to wait for some items. You'll see it's a passive farming game, a little bit slow to begin with. Not a huge amount of aggression in this bottom lane. Not as much of a kill lane as I'd anticipated. And I think it stems from the a little bit of fear on Corki and Janna's part. Nocturne's been doing really, really well, but in terms of ganks, he's shown his face for about 3 ganks, managed to successfully pull off 2, but now they know he's here. Shyvana has red buff, and Rise is coming up. Rise also has mana and his ultimate. A level 4 Shyvana is going to apply the slow, beautiful spell shield there from Nocturne in comparison with, in conjunction with the cannon barrage from Gangplank, means that Nocturne can get away unscathed. What was really, really good about that spell shield Whether or not it was intentional, it actually blocked the rune prism. It blocked the snare, and that's the really big thing. Strangely now, Rise has pulled the aggro for these creeps, so he's going to be punched in the head a couple of times by this giant golem. Nocturne does have paranoia, but he didn't have vision, and he decided not to commit to it. Rather not going to dive into 3 champions, relatively blindly. On the top lane, there was definitely a skirmish between Gangplank and Singed. You can tell by the fact that Singed's Sanity Potion was running, and it is now on cooldown. If you have a look on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the small animation showing you a small, giving you a brief understanding of how long it'll take before it comes back. And we have broken the 70 viewers mark. Welcome back, guys, or welcome to the stream. I am Quickshot. This is how a South African sounds. Yes, I know, it's awesome. Say hi on chat. I'd love to introduce myself. I'd love to greet you guys personally. Singed is just having a real lot of trouble on this top lane. Gangplank going for a slightly unorthodox build. Double Dorans into a longsword. So we can probably assume huge damage on that. I think that was with a crit as well. Look at that HP on Shyvana. She's going to have to run away. If Gangplank had thought about the damage that he was going to be dealing, he would have tanked that turret a little bit more. He would have stabbed that dragon lady in the face and picked up another kill. Rise is a little bit overextended, and he's pretty low on mana. Kennen has used his Lightning Rush, though, so he's not going to be committing for this fight. I thought that maybe with Nocturne there, they would have pushed. Let's have a look how much damage these parlays are doing. That's close to 200 damage on that Singed. It dropped them from 1695 to about 1480, so that's huge damage. Hawkshot is going out from Ashe. She's using it for vision. She's keeping that frost shot on, keeping Kayle exactly where she wants her. She's still got her ultimate up, but look at that damage. Phosphorus bomb in conjunction with the slow from Kayle melts the HP of Ashe. And just as Mankey was considering evolving into an ultimate usage and looking for a kill, the de-evolution potion was placed on him. Nocturne is now going to be able to catch this Corki out of position. Dives in with Paranoia. The Unspeakable Horror is broken, but the red buff is sitting on him. He's thinking about going for a dive. Decides against it. Kayle uses her ultimate there. 1.5 seconds of invulnerability. Avoids the damage, avoids the slow. And nothing comes from that ultimate of Paranoia. Had Ashe been a little bit closer, or had the Ashe arrow been saved for a few seconds, they may have been able to convert a kill. And luckily, though, not managing to pick up the kill, but well played. Well played by Kayle, well played by Corki, using their abilities when, at the right time. It's the Valkyrie. It's not a rocket jump, but it'll be a rocket jump for me. Using a Valkyrie to jump away. Only once Nocturne had jumped onto them. So Rise is going to be moving in now. Kennen making a small bit of a mistake here. Rise jumps onto Ashe and completely blows Ashe up. Kennen uses his ultimate, only partially catching Rise and Corki before being melted himself. So that's Kennen down. Rise managing to pick up the double kill. Gangplank does pick up the kill onto Rise in and amongst all of that, though. But Corki then finishes off Nocturne and Gangplank in reply. So they do pick up the dragon, but they lose 2 deaths, 4 deaths for it. And that's definitely not worth it. 1 kill in Dragon, that's 1,000 gold. Compare that to around about the 1,200 gold on behalf of the 4 deaths that Team Destiny Gaming picked up. And I don't think that's a fair trade. That's put the gold graph now back even. They were sitting around 1,500 difference. And now you can see it's 14,700 to 14,700. It is bang on even. So it looks like we're shaping up for a pretty close game. What is going to be very difficult for Ashe in this bottom lane now is Ashe is behind on creep score, 76 to 98, and Corki has picked up 2 kills and 2 assists. So, yes, Ashe does have a BF sword and double Dorans. Corki's going to be able to go back. Let's have a quick look at the gold graph and see how much gold he actually has. Is 1,650 in the bank. So he's going to be able to pick up potentially a BF sword, the best friend sword, or maybe a Phage if he's going to go for a Trinity Force build. And with the experience and the additional time in solo lane, Singed has managed to get a level and a half advantage over Gangplank. Gangplank will hit level 9 very shortly. Hawkshot going out from Ashe, trying to keep that vision, just trying to keep Kayle at bay. Takes the Eye of the Storm from Janna, and now a little bit of focus from Kayle onto Janna. And the zoning ability of Kayle has been doing really, really well. 30 creep score advantage in favor of Corki at the 13-minute mark is huge. And Corki's sitting at 110 CS. That's as close to perfect as you can get. He's hitting 4 or 5 creeps out of every single wave. And look at who's comboing those abilities there. Look at the Rocket Barrage, the Phosphorus Bomb, the Gatling Cannon. Rise scales into the late game fantastically well. But so does Ashe, and so does Gangplank. Nocturne and Kennen do fall off a little bit. Fantastic arrow there from Ash. Lands onto Kale. Kale's going to get completely melted. Really, really well played there. Kale attempting to blue pull back, attempting to fall back a little bit. There was aggression in the mid lane as well, but nothing came of that one. And a really good combination of ultimates there. Stun onto Kale in the bush, followed up by the Paranoia dive from Nocturne. Picks up the assist. And most importantly, the kill does go to Ash. So with the farm advantage and the kill and assists, Corki is sitting around 400 gold ahead. He's opted to go for Sheen, a longsword, and a Vamp Scepter. So he's going to be going for the Trinity Force build first. I think it's a smart way to play it. Looking at how he's comboed his abilities, looking at how he uses his Phosphorus Bomb into the rockets, into the Gatling Cannon, he's definitely doing very, very well. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Gangplank doesn't have mana to sustain these fights. So because he can't keep the harass onto the enemy Singed, he's not able to win these 1v1 fights. Singed is now opting for was thinking about the dive, uses an Insanity Potion. He's got the extra ability for attack speed. He's really thinking about this, but he's not sure. He wants to go, he doesn't want to go. Kennen has now managed to catch Shyvana off guard, got his ultimate up, throws the ultimate. This is going to be a dead Shyvana, completely stunned at max range, slicing Maelstrom. You actually seen Shyvana take the animation for one step forward and then have to come back because the stun actually got picked up. So great play. And that'll stem from the ward. Wards win games, people. If you are not putting wards down, you're going to lose your matches. And this ward from Team Destiny allowed them to know that Shyvana was here. And Kennen and Nocturne able to pick up the kill. Tower dive from Corki and Kale managed to pick up the first kill into Janna. Corki jumps forward with his flash, Gatling Cannon and his rocket barrage or missile barrage, whatever it's called. Here we go. Missile barrage manages to pick up the kill in the bottom lane as well. I missed the opening of that. We've now got some aggression here in the middle lane. Nocturne and Kennen looking for a kill onto Rise, but Rise able to run away, able to use his flash. I didn't see if Nocturne or they had to use their own flashes. And with Nocturne, of course, not having Paranoia up, he couldn't chase down the enemy Rise. So yes, Shyvana has been knocked down or has been cut down in the lane in jungle, but the remaining lanes are quite a bit ahead. Kennen 97 CS to the 120 of Rise, 91 CS on GP to the 98 of Singed, so that's pretty even. You can't really get much closer than that. And you'll see that Gangplank is actually winning his lane, but he's gone for an unorthodox build. He's probably going for a Trinity Force build, which makes sense. It is a pretty decent DPS build, but it doesn't scale into the late game fantastically well, and that's something to be worried about. On the bottom lane, Ash sitting on 108 CS to the 129 of Corki. Corki, now that he's got the lead, he's fallen behind. He was 30 CS ahead. It's now dropped to around 18. And that's primarily because he's focusing on putting pressure onto the champions. And we see Shyvana coming up in the top lane at the moment. Singed is going to try bait. He does have his Insanity Potion off cooldown, so it's not going to be enough to save. Shyvana's going to come in. If Shyvana can push him into the turret, it might be enough. The toss back, that is going to be a dead Singed. And Gangplank might be able to just run away from this. A little bit unsure where he wants to go. And Shyvana whiffing her ultimate completely. This now gives, or this means Gangplank has the blue buff. And he's picking a fight with Shyvana. She's using that double hit. He's eating the oranges, but the damage is very, very high. Flash from Gangplank forces him to go away. If he can get the cooldown back on this his oranges ability, remove Scurvy, he'll get some hit points back. And with blue buff, he'll be able to spam that all day. But he's tanking these minions way too much. Nocturne does pick up a kill onto Shyvana while I'm trying to look at Gangplank. So I'll keep an eye on the minimap a little bit more. Gold advantage still in favor of Destiny Gaming. Compliments of that dragon pickup. Compliments of the early pressure that they've had. And we've just broke the 75 viewers mark. We are up to 76. Thank you guys for joining. My name is Quickshot. I'm going to be covering the ESL Go4LoL Cup all day long. We're on round 2 at the minute. Tower dive here from Corki and from Kale, a little bit aggressive. Gangplank opted to use the cannon barrage, and now Kale's going the wrong direction. She still has her ultimate up to avoid the damage, but a little bit of splits, a little bit of indecisiveness from Janna and Ash. Fantastic crystalline arrow. That's going to stun Corki. Frost shot into the volley, but it gets turned around. Nocturne's going to be able to pick up this kill. Summoner heals used. Paranoia is brilliant in favor of Destiny Gaming. Pushes the champions back, and they decide not to push, but Singed has now moved into this bottom lane. He was running bottom. I don't see teleports on him at the minute. He's used Insanity Potion, and it looks like he activated his Ghost as well. well. No, it's not the Ghost. Slow blocks from the Spell Shield on Nocturne, so really well played. Shyvana and Ryze on this bottom lane here, so this is 4 players. If somebody gets caught, they're going to go down. There's going to be a toss back. Sinister's diving. Huge burst from Ryze. Completely melts Nocturne under the turret. Ryze is taking turret aggro, and the team is busy deciding, let's push for Janna. Let's not go for Janna. Let's push for Janna. Ignite goes down into Janna, finally picks up a kill, and fantastic 4-man dive. They're going to pick up Dragon off of this, opting not to take the tower. Going to leave the tower in place. Allow the carry of Corki and Kale to sit in that bottom lane for a little bit longer and farm. But what it does mean is they lose their tower on the top lane. Gangplank has managed to pick that up. So gold is a fairly even trade. 190 for all team members as opposed to the 150 for all team members of the turret on the top lane. And all of a sudden, we're square even again. 25,200 gold, both sides of the coin. 1 turret in favor of Destiny Gaming. 1 dragon to both sides. And have a look at the creep score once again. Corki pulling ahead with this free time, with this free farm. 30 CS ahead, and he's going to be close to finishing this Trinity Force. Very close, in fact. That's going to be about 100 gold away, if my math is not too far off. I believe he'll need 1195 plus 300, so 1495. There we go. Where is Corki? He's in lane at the minute. I think he's recalling back. Yep, you'll see he'll be updating for his Trinity Force very shortly. Ash looks like she's going for a Bloodthirster first. Let's see how she's doing gold-wise. 6,000 gold as opposed to 6,900 of Corki. Creep score, quite a bit in advantage of purple team at the moment. And Kale is soloing Ash. Kale is really brave. He's got the heal, he's got the slow, but a little bit overconfident. And we got some pressure in the middle lane here at the minute. Flash auto attack from Nocturne is enough to chunk down the HP. Kennen finishes it off with 1 more lightning shuriken, pulling back the kill. So that single kill will give them a small advantage as well. Kill the killing spree, or it'll take away the killing spree that Ryze had. Give a bonus 300 odd gold, split between Kennen and Nocturne. And we're up to 80 viewers. Hey, what is up, guys? Little Boy 2008. I hope you know it's 2012 rather. Make sure your calendar's up to date. I know you can't update your nickname because it's probably very old, but what is up? AMD Owl Level A. Greetings to you as well. Thank you for sharing some love. And anybody else that'd like to say hi on chat, be sure to drop by. Let's have a look what's happening here at the minute. 9-8 is the score. 21 minutes in. 800 gold separates these teams. Ash and Janna are completely pincered now. They've caught between a rock and a hard place. Corki is just going to tear Ash apart. Paranoia jumps onto Shyvana. Summoning heal blown from Ash. That's going to be a dead Ash. But while they're doing that, Kale might be able to get away in their top lane. She does manage to get away. Kennen is committing, though. He's going to be popping his ultimate, surely, unfortunately, on cooldown. He does manage to pick up a kill. Ryze then gets the kill score bonus of killing Kennen. And that was just poor positioning, poor placement. Janna and Ash moving through the river, moving to the middle lane, trying to put some pressure, trying to get up to, through the river to the mid lane, and unfortunately just not doing, not having the vision, so not knowing where the full enemy team is. And Corki catching Janna out of position once again. Singed was moving forward to try and catch somebody, to get that fling, get that toss back going, but a beautiful spell shield from Nocturne prevented it happening. Ryze is sitting in this bottom lane, he's going to go for this tower dive. Once this creep wave pushes up, Ryze is just pushing for the dive. Overload into Rune Prison, into the Spell Flux is going to completely melt Gangplank. And a fantastically coordinated tower dive is going to give Purple Team the advantage for the first time in the game. Kill score is now in the lead, and they have the gold advantage as well as the turret in the middle lane. Really, really well played. Great pressure and great knowledge what they can get away with, how they can dive, when they can dive. You'll notice the big Wraith is missing here, so it's the big chunk of gold, it's the big XP boost that isn't there, and Destiny Gaming will need to clear out that camp before they can pick up the big XP again. Nolilon, what's up? Thanks for saying, thanks for joining, thanks for the kind words. If anybody doesn't know, this is a South African accent. If you've read any of the forum posts or the Reddit posts and come here, thanks for the support. Thanks for joining. We're going to be here for ESL Go4LoL Cup number 86 all day long. We'll be seeing a little bit passive at the minute. With 2 turrets down for Purple Team, 1 turret down for Blue Team. It's going to affect how the gameplay is going to be. It's going to affect how the game's going to be moving. All right. Teams are now going to start grouping together. We're hitting the level 12 to 16 mark where we've officially transitioned into the mid game, and it's going to be about team play and coordination. We know where Shyvana is. and she's slowly managing to pull herself back into this game. 0-3-5, still behind. Oh, fantastic, fantastic stun from Nocturne, followed up by a Paranoia, and now the Cannon Barrage completing, melting the Shyvana's hit point total. Corki is now split up, but what I didn't notice is Corki had managed to catch Ashe on the bottom lane, so Corki's managed to pick up a kill. He's going to use the Valkyrie to get over the wall, flash first. He's still got his Valkyrie off cooldown, most likely. Have a look at that, and it's available in 3 seconds, so he would have been able to do another blink and get to safety. So 1-for-1 trade, but it was an AD carry for the support, and I would trade my AD carry for a support any day of the week. Having a look at builds at the moment, Ashe has finished her Infinity Edge, so that's really going to start helping her damage-wise. And Corki has got Trinity Force and Pickaxe, and it's going to be down to focusing. Destiny Gaming are going to need to pick off Ryze or Corki at the beginning of every fight. They're going to need to shut them down before they stand a chance. What I didn't notice on the top lane is Gangplank managing to 1v1 Shyvana. He's popping his flash now to try to get away from Singed, and he's keep track on this battle at the moment. Singed is thinking about putting out that slick, that mega adhesive glue, sticking Gangplank to the floor, managing to get him at max range. But considering the dive he's going for it, Insanity Potion is still up. Along with Ryze, he's going to be able to do this, but they're committing to a really far dive. Ryze is moving in. The Fling is about to land. Fling pushes him back. Rune Prison from Ryze. Overload's landing. That's going to be a dead Gangplank. Nocturne's now overcommitted. Ignite has been placed onto him. We don't have an ultimate from Kennen, so they're not going to be able to pick this fight. And now Nocturne's going to have to fall back as well. And a 7-2-2 Ryze is just melting faces here. In Destiny Gaming are really on the back foot. Nightmare Elf, Bjorble, Deathmaker. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the stream. This is round 2 of Go4LoL, and we're going to be here all day long. 15-12 is the kill score. The gold is slightly pulling ahead now. Purple team is slowly trying, beginning to impose their dominance, impose their map control, diving past the first tower, diving towards the inner tower, and not afraid of any champions, not afraid of Nocturne jumping in there. They're willing and able to push down the lanes. And we notice now that Corki picking up the blue buff, so this is interesting. Actually, it's not too much. When you think about it logically, Ryze is now hitting the point. He's got the cooldown reduction. He will be getting the cooldown reduction shortly from his Frozen Heart. There it is there, 15% cooldown reduction. He's got huge amounts of mana from his Tear of the Goddess. Mana pool sitting at 3,400 at the minute. That's close to max. Yeah, most Ryzes tend to hit around the 4,200 to 4,800 mana point by end game. And of course, his damage scales off mana. So see on the bottom lane at the moment, I just seen the health bar ticking. Ashe and Janna managing to catch a Kayle, Kayle alone, managing to deal some damage, then pick up a kill. Ashe with the red buff in conjunction with the frost arrows, it's just going to be impossible to escape that Ashe. So she's going to be able to stick to you and kite and keep dealing that damage. Corki clearing the wave, 1 phosphorus bomb, 1 use of Gatling cannon, and that's pretty much the entire wave dead. So they're going to be giving him his the blue buff just to make sure he can keep spamming those rockets, keep spamming those phosphorus bombs. The thing that's very interesting about the phosphorus bomb as well is it applies a miss chance. You'll see some glittery gas, like a small smoke cloud after he shoots it. And any auto attacks launched or landing within that area have a miss percentage. I believe it applies only to Corki. Magic damage to area. The blast reveals and does not reveal stealth. I'm fairly certain it applies that miss chance, but I may be a little bit wrong. Maybe IRC Land can confirm some facts. 80 viewers at the minute. It is officially my highest number of spectators at any given time, so thank you guys for joining. Shyvana is now rocking the Oracle's Elixir, so she's going to be able to see the stealthed wards and start clearing out these wards and really trying to impose more map control and more map dominance. And look at the ward coverage here from Destiny Gaming. They want to know what's happening in this bottom lane. They want to know when their buffs are going to be stolen. But we know. There's the Hawk Shot. Hawk Shot's going to give us vision. Is it going to be followed up by an Ashe arrow? Ashe opting not to use her arrow. He would have hit Shyvana in the face anyway. And Shyvana's not the primary target. That's the Banshee's Veiled pop by Gangplank. So that was a really smart move. Moving up, popping that Banshee's Veil for 45 seconds. They're going to be able to commit onto Ryze. And what you notice now from Gangplank is he's converted that early game advantage. The double Doran's Blade has been sold, and he's finished off his Frozen Mallet and Atma's Impaler. So that's a slightly more standard build for Gangplank. And it looks like they're going to go for Baron. Now, this is very interesting. There is a ward in Baron, so the purple team knows about this, but they're out of position. Kale is out of place. That's the Ashe arrow landing on Rise. And it's a very successful arrow. It shut Rise down, but it scared them away. Just the presence. The enemy team coming forward. Singed is not committing to this fight, and they shouldn't be focusing Singed. They need to jump onto Rise. They need to blow up Rise. Rise has been killed by Ashe. Shyvana's managed to pick up a double kill, though, from all the damage from Singed, as well as Rise's ultimate. Bouncing bomb, so we can only have 3 for 3 at the moment. Corki's going to go down with Ashe alive and with the red buff. They may be able to turn this around, but it's a 2 versus 3. That's a huge damage. If Ashe had a little bit more confidence to push in and maybe a slightly different support, maybe would have committed for that 3 versus 2. But what you noticed is that was great focus. They melted Rise, completely took him out of the fight very early. But the problem was, Rise was just sitting in the back, throwing out those overlords, bouncing the magic debuff with his E, with his spell flux, and really putting a hurting down onto the team. So if we can build a little bit more tankiness in the form of Destiny Gaming, we may be able to start turning these team fights around. And a little bit more conviction, you know. They gave up the advantage that they had. They were grouped as 5. Can I say 3 times 3? 3 times 3 is 9. So yes, I can say it, and I'm happy to say it for Big Matter 16. What Destiny Gaming did there, which I think was their mistake, was they committed to the Baron. They knew Rise was coming, and they threw the arrow onto Rise. Rise was locked up, and instead of committing, instead of pushing for the kill and really going to blow him up, and then making it a 5 versus 4, they fell back, and it allowed the purple team to group up. It allowed them to push together, and once they grouped up as 5, you just seen how quickly they could focus down the champions. So a little bit more aggression, a little bit more conviction in the fights that they want to pick, and I think they're going to be able to start turning these team fights around. But it's going to have to happen in the next few minutes. If they don't do it, soon, then unfortunately, I think this is going to be a lost game. Having a look at a couple extra names. Ricky Aylor and Zanyo. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining. This is the ESL Go4LoL Cup number 86. We're in round number 2. I am Quick Shot. And look at the Ashe arrow. It's flying in from far. Who's it going to land on? It hits Singed square in the face. Not the target you really want. Kennan's committing as well, and his ultimate only managing to land onto Rise, and he eats a full Rise combo to the face. Nocturne jumps in with Paranoia, gets melted by Corki. Corki then turns his attentions to Gangplank. That pirate is unable to sail to safety. The pirate cannot eat oranges and be okay from the damage from Corki, and now the team is split. Kennan managing to survive with a sliver of health. The electric hamster managing to power his way to survivability, manages to get away. That's no kills picked up for Destiny, and they lose Baron, and I'm afraid that might not be too much to come back from. Corki Valkyrying over the wall, huge damage with a phosphorus bomb, almost takes out Ashe and Janna with a simple 2 or 3 auto attacks, and with the Baron buff on him, that gives him attack damage buff, that gives him an ability damage buff, and Corki's going to be even more powerful. Infinity Edge completed, Trinity Force completed, and the Vamp Scepter in conjunction with Zeke's Herald, giving him attack speed as well as lifesteal. He's going to be eating this team alive. With a Shyvana Rise Singed combo, they're going to be able to keep the enemy team away. They're going to be able to keep Destiny Gaming off Corki. And the fact that you can't simply blow up a Rise. Rise is tanky. Rise has got, survivability. He's got hit points. He's got, damage reduction or attack speed reduction from the Frozen Heart. You take a long time to kill him. Look at the damage that we're dealing with to Corki, though. This is aggressive. This is Ashe saying, I want your blood. And it's not enough. The ultimate from Kale saves Corki. Corki gets away, and now the tables are turned. The huge damage going on to Shyvana. Kennan picks it up with a shuriken and a lightning rush. Rise is staying in for this battle, though. He's committing. With Singed coming in, it may turn the tides of battle. Cannon barrages come down, and Nocturne is moving forward. Huge damage coming down. Kennan jumping in with his slicing maelstrom, manages to get 2 ticks of it before being blown up, and a toss back from Singed says, yeah, eat some turret shots, eat some of my turret, you little hamster, and he gets blown up by the turret. So really good playing, conviction from Ashe, like I said, knowing that they've got the damage to kill Corki, or at least almost kill Corki. If Kale had not been there and Kale's ultimate hadn't been on available, that would have been a dead Corki, but it wasn't enough. Singed managing to put some damage down, and with Corki back in the fight, they're going to be able to put some pressure down here. That's a dead Ashe, and they're going to keep chasing. If the Insanity Potion or Ghost comes up from Singed, this is going to be a dead Gangplank or Janna, and the damage from Corki is just immense. Corky's going to commit for this. He flashes, Phosphorus Bomb, auto attack, rocket, auto attack. Huge damage going down, and they're going to keep chasing. Huge, huge, huge kudos to Andy J.K. is really, really good at the moment. Guys, can I get some feedback? Is the in-game sounds very, very soft? What I will do is I will crank it up. I know it has it. A few players have said it was soft, but nobody had really complained. For the 80-odd people on chat, or if you are there, please give me some feedback. Should I be cranking up the game sounds a little bit more? You can hear now there's some Phosphorus Bomb, there's some Gatling Cannon. Here's some turret sounds out here. Well, I think I can crank it up just a little bit more. That should be a bit better. What do you guys say? Let me know. I have a very loud voice. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for saying you want to hear me. I love to be here. I love to cast. I'm absolutely in love with esports and especially League of Legends. So my goal is to become a professional shoutcaster. And with you guys supporting, with you guys giving me some feedback, I may actually be able to organize my own tournament very soon. All right. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the music on. The reason I leave the music on, guys, is I don't have any other background music. So I'm going to crank the volume down a little bit on the music, just so at least there's something in the background. You're not only listening to me, but I tell you what, I'll drop it a little bit anyway. Any and all feedback is great, guys. As I was saying a little bit earlier, I'm going to be able to hopefully get involved and organize some of my own tournaments, inviting some professional teams to come and play with some big cash. But I need to get content first. I need to get subscribers and followers. So if you do enjoy the sound of my voice, if you do think I could become a good caster, I'd love feedback. Any criticism, any flame, any love, you can join me on facebook.com/quickshot, QU1KSH0T. I'd love to hear your feedback, and of course, you'll be able to know as and when I'm casting. And here's the troll Singed I'm talking about, just taking the turret hits, running forward, getting out of the way. Can I get some feedback there, guys? Is anybody hearing any game sounds at all? All right, if that is the case, I'm hearing them in my headset. I'll have to double check after the game. Crank up my speakers to get it. All right, I'll tell you what I'll do then. I'm going to do some tests. I'm going to crank up the master volume in-game. So it's quite a lot louder in my ears. And let's get a poll. We've got 80-on people on IRC and about 5 or 10 people talking. So game sounds up or down? Let's just go game sounds up or game sounds down, depending on the majority or depending on how I'm going to change it. So I think we found maybe a little bit, see where they're sitting at the time being. Up, up, up seems to be the call. So I'll see what's happening. I'll tell you what we can do then is we can judge. Sound effects is at max. We don't need voice. I will adjust the master volume then a little bit more. And once again, we've cranked it up a little bit further. We're sitting at nearly max volume on the master volume. So let me know how we're sitting at the moment. There's one more vote. Up, down, left or right. This is, of course, the ESL Go4LoL Round 2. We're in cup number 86. There have been 86 Go4LoLs, guys. This is absolutely fantastic. Blue team of Destiny Gaming on the back foot, sitting at a deficit of 18 to 25. Nearly 12,000 gold behind. That's 20% difference, and it's really starting to show. Let's have a look at the individual gold graphs. 15,000 gold on Corky, as opposed to the 12,000 on Ash. That's an infinity edge difference. That's a huge infinity edge difference. I'm leaving the game sounds as it is at the moment, guys. I may need to modify maybe my soundboards just a little bit, but I don't really know which buttons to push. So, Bjorble, what I will be doing after this game is I will quickly jump onto my VODs and see what's happening. We got loads and loads of pings around Baron Nashor here from Destiny. They know that it's going to be spawning shortly, and they're waiting for the purple team to push up. Sound effects can go up some more. All right, well, I'll tell you what. We'll max out master volume. That's officially the highest that I can go without needing to fiddle with my soundboard. So I'm going to leave it around about there. I don't really mind as long as you can hear me over the sound effects. I think that's slightly more important. But let's see what's happening. 18 to 25, 40-minute game. We're officially into the late game. We've had a look at these gold graphs as much as possible. And look at this build on Corky. Infinity Edge, Trinity Force, Last Whisperer, Quicksilver Sash as well. We're really hitting the loss. Ghost, Insanity Potion from Singed. He's diving forward. He's trying to get into the range of Ashe, but it's not going to be enough. Shyvana's moving forward. They've immediately focused on Corki. Corki's had to jump out. Nocturne has jumped onto Rise, and this is a good fight for Destiny so far. They're going to need to turn their attentions back to Corki since he's rejoined the fight. But look at the split focus. Once the champions have left the fight, they're not able to carry on. The tanky DPS of Singed and Shyvana is too powerful for the DPS of Nocturne and Gangplank. And what started off fantastically, they pushed Corki out of the fight. They pushed Rise out of the fight. And unfortunately, once they jumped back in, look at the damage on Shyvana. Look at the damage on Singed. That damage should not be there. They should not be hitting Shyvana and Singed that much. But they can't get past them. They can't get away from them. And that's the problem. That's the real issue. I think this is going to be GG. That's the first inhibitor down. Deciding not to push, deciding not to take the inner turret. And I think they're going to move back. Maybe take Dragon. Maybe take Nasher. And the gold deficit is nearly up to 20,000 gold. That's a huge number. 84 viewers at the moment. Thank you guys for joining. Once again, I'm here. This is officially my first big, I'd call it tournament cast. I've had a few social games casted before and a couple of fun games with an all random or bottom. But any and all feedback is welcome. Please make sure you give me some feedback either in chat or jump onto Facebook, facebook.com/quickshot, QU1KSH0T. I'm Leet, guys. Leet speak all the way. And I think it's just a matter of time at the minute. Sadly, Technolink and Destiny Gaming just being pushed back. Just been on the back foot for a really long time. Ashe is starting to hit really hard as well. She's got her Last Whisper of Phantom Dancer. And of course the Infinity Edge. But not a huge amount more. Thank you for the share. Thank you for spreading the love, guys. I'm going to be here all day long. So if you enjoy Go4LoL, if you enjoy some commentary, be sure to stick around. Be sure to hit the subscription button or the follow button as it is on Twitch TV. Shyvana soloing the Dragon. And keep in mind, guys, Shyvana was DC'd for the first 2.5 minutes of the game. So, you know, she was a little bit behind. Folks, 9, you are 100% right. I do need to get some overlays. And I think I'm going to be getting them next week. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get them in time for this cast. I need to be bugging some guys who have some graphic design work. I sadly don't have any graphics. But you know what I might do? I'll get in touch with some of the other casters as soon as this game is over. Maybe one of them will be friendly enough to lend me an overlay, is what it's called. And then we can stick the team names in the top. So, 44 minutes in. You can have a look at the gold graphs on the bottom. Absolutely hugely farmed. Absolutely hugely built in terms of items. Both teams starting to reach the end game side of the competition. But look at the tankiness on purple team at the moment. Double Frozen Heart, Force of Nature. Singed has popped his Ghost, he's popped his Insanity Potion, and he's trying to move forward, but stacking the slows. Frost Arrow, Volley, plus Rylai's Crystal Scepter from Kennen is going to keep him sitting back. It's going to keep even Singed from running past you. I must admit, I'm missing Singed's laugh. Dyrus in the Rain, no, the Rain Man, known for playing that troll. Singed, known for laughing, ha, the whole time. Unfortunately, not spamming it this time round, and huge damage going down onto Kennen. The fight hasn't even begun, and that was just simple poke. Kennen having to pop his Zonya's Hourglass. Kenyon's down. Kennen goes down in and amongst all of that, and the team is just melting Destiny Gaming. Their focus was Shyvana. Their focus was the jungler, and even in the spawn, Rise is almost able to take out Ashe in and amongst the spawn. She picks up the kill. That's a spawn pool kill with the regen, with the survivability, the heal from the spawning pool. Rise bursts through it, and GG goes down. 44-minute game. Really well played, guys. That was round 2 of the ESL Go4LoL Cup. This is, of course, the qualifier for the monthly final. I now have 10 million messages. So, well played to our opposing team. I'm going to have to invite one of the champions just to actually get their team name and give them an official congratulations, because I actually didn't get their name right at the beginning. What I'm going to be doing now, guys, is I'm I'm going to be jumping in, organizing round 3 of the Go4LoL Cup. I'm going to stick some music on in the background. I'm going to make sure that I want to try get an overlay for some of you guys over in chat. And it would be fantastic if you guys could help bring some viewers. Spread the word. The South African has landed. I am Quickshot, and I will be back shortly, guys. So music is up, and I'll see you in a moment.